Joining us on the Blue Frame Technology Hoopsville Hotline is the Hopkins head coach, Katherine Bixby, to talk about it all. And, Coach, thanks for taking the time tonight.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you having me.
We should point out one of 4 guests tonight who also were scheduled to be on Thursday's show, so we appreciate you dancing with us a little bit here.
Yeah, Sundays are good days.
Yeah, Sunday's not bad, right? Conference tournament ahead, obviously, for you guys and everybody else. It will be at Gettysburg despite finishing tied up top the conference, which I know you would love to have had go another way, but unfortunately they nipped you twice this season. But you still got to be pretty proud that you guys ended up finishing tied atop the conference.
Yeah, really proud of the team. I mean, those 2 losses to Gettysburg are tough. I think with this team, it's a little bit of a mind game right now. I think they intimidate themselves. They talk themselves out of it a little bit. But in terms of the rest of the season, I was extremely proud of not just the individual performances, but the team performance collectively as a group has just been really impressive, especially as of late. These last 3 games have been really, really beautiful.
Not that long ago, this program was 12-13. Obviously, you come in and from, interesting enough, Dickinson, who knocked off Gettysburg, and kind of turned the program in the right direction, and already seeing results. Last year, 17-10, and again, 22-3 this season. What's been the secret to the sauce, as it were, to the turnaround and getting the program back to the top of the Centennial heap?
Well, I mean, first you got to point out that we have 7 seniors on our team. Now, one of those 7 doesn't play anymore, but just having 7 seniors in terms of determination. I mean, I think in the beginning of the year, there's always that question of how's the team going to be, and some people think seniors, could go both ways. They might check out or they might really fully engage, and this group has always been 100% in and fully engaged, and that trickles down. When your seniors are leading practices in terms of their pace and their work ethic, when seniors are leading in practices with their voice, I think it helps the coach. It makes my job more fun because, you just enjoy that they're here to play basketball together. So when they're doing that, it's really wonderful. So it definitely starts with them. And then with that trickle down, I mean, we have a first year that starts for us, and she's kind of brought another intensity level on our program. She's one of the last ones out of the gym. So it's from top to bottom, which is really fun to coach,
Yeah, certainly. Your team is, as you said, full of leadership, and 4 of the top 5 are seniors in scoring, led by Lillian Scott at 17.5 points a game, Lexi Schultz at 13, Madison McGrath 7.8, a freshman in Dyra Oden at 6.7, and then 6.2 for Rory Cole. So not only are they vocal, but they certainly show it on the floor as well. And when you have 6 on the floor at any given time, granted not all the time, that's illegal or something.
We actually tried that last night.
Oh, did you?
We wanted to try that. Yeah, we asked the ref if we could put all 6 of them on and get a tech, but he said he wouldn't let it happen, so we were kind of bummed.
Yeah, there's some rules in place that they're not even allowed to happen. That's too bad. That would have been fun to see.
Yeah.
But from that group, obviously, there's options, and they know to trust each other, clearly.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Lil. We've got to start with Lil. I mean, she's had an incredible senior season. She's had incredible individual performances. I mean, last night she had 27, which is just 3 under her career high. And that was a big game. I mean, Ursinus is a great team, and they're tough matchups for us because they can match our speed, especially at the guard position. Mm-hmm. So to see Lil embrace the intensity of that game and the pressure of that game and have one of her best games of the season, it's great to see as a coach. And she's fun to watch. I mean, she had a behind-the-back pass in transition yesterday to somebody cutting the basket. So, I've really enjoyed watching her grow this year. And then Lexi, our other guard, who they kind of share the point guard responsibility, is the first person in Hopkins history to have over 900 points, 500 rebounds, and 300 assists.
Yeah.
So to have those 2 decision makers be leading the offense on this team is, if we weren't 22-3, I would fire myself. I mean, there's too
Oh, you're saying it
talented
should have been
in
easy.
that. Yeah. But I mean, you saw us play earlier
Mm-hmm.
in the year, and you just kind of talked about the flexibility, and that is what those 6 seniors, and then we've got 3 juniors that play, and then some of the first years and sophomores have contributed. And the Centennial Conference is so different depending game to game. So I think one of our kind of tools to the success this year was our flexibility. Sometimes we can go big, sometimes we can go small, and we can have different players step up at different moments. And that's really, we've been talking a lot about synergy and teamwork, and you've really seen it a lot this season.
You talked a little bit earlier, and I know you and I talked at another time. You talked about the seniors against the Gettysburg team, not kind of, maybe having their heads down or not really up for the game or understanding their opportunity is probably the best way of saying it. This group hasn't been around when Hopkins was in the fray with 4 others at the top of the Centennial. That doesn't feel that long ago, but clearly is longer than I want to admit. Is there as much as they're seniors and they're leading, is there still an element of teaching them or getting them to realize this is what it's like atop this conference and don't shy away?
Yeah, I think so. Again, these last 3 games, I think they've actually turned that page a little. They've started off games knowing how talented they can be and how good they can be when they play smart and physical defense, and if they play smart and creative offense. We really talk about creativity and controlling the pace. So I think the last 3 games, that's really come together, and it's sustained too when we make substitutions, which is important. I think before sometimes we would ball watch Lexi and Lil just because they're so talented, and now we've realized that all 5 players on the court at all times can be a strong contribution to our offense. For them, because they haven't played a championship game and we still have to win a semifinal game. Granted, I haven't won one yet either in the Centennial Conference. I think then you've just got to focus on the controllables.
Sure.
And the controllables are defense and then our execution and our keys to the game. And that's kind of been the theme this year. So we're just going to keep on keeping on with that, not changing anything or try and talk ourselves out of this at all.
Speaking of the semifinals coming up on Friday, you'll be at Gettysburg, as we mentioned. You'll take on Haverford. It's the only game we know, as Gettysburg will wait for the 4-5 game to be played on Tuesday, I believe, between Ursinus and Muhlenberg. You guys know it's Haverford. You've beaten them twice. They always say the hardest thing to do is beat a team 3 times. How do you take advantage of the week while at the same time getting ready for Haverford? In other words, how do you take advantage of a little bit of a time here to lick wounds, but at the same time keep them ready and ready is the only word I got for Haverford?
Yeah, I love having the bye. I think that play-in game, Ursinus and Muhlenberg, that's a tough position to be in. And having the bye, I think, is great, as you said, to lick your wounds, kind of rest a little bit. But, I'm at Hopkins, and students really appreciate preparation. Mm-hmm. So this week, we really are going to dive into kind of our X's and O's. And, Bobby Morgan runs an incredible program at Haverford. And, her kind of spread offense / chin offense is intricate and wonderful, so we're going to have to be watching quite a bit of film to try and digest how we're going to attack that. But I think mainly it's just pace, still trying to, it's exciting, but still trying to just focus on what we can control and somewhat soak in the moment. This season's gone by so quick, and some of this will be kind of nearing the end, so I really want them to enjoy it.
You're sitting in the 4th spot in the regional rankings. Obviously, we'll get an update on Wednesday. I assume the message to the team is we're not playing in March unless we win this thing.
Yeah. I heard you talk about Nichols right before this, and it's a similar kind of situation. I don't want to put the decision into the regional, committee if we lose the semifinal game or if we lose the championship game. I mean, this whole season, winning the championship has been our ultimate goal. And I think that's 100% attainable, and that's kind of just what's on our mind right now.
Sure, I can understand that. And I assume it not worth distracting the team either. You want them focused
Right.
on winning. There's no point in talking what ifs.
Right.
Centennial race, as we mentioned, been pretty tough. You're not nationally ranked, getting some attention. Fair, or do you think you guys are a little bit underappreciated?
Yeah, I think it's fair. Transylvania's ranked now, but they weren't when we played them. And they have beaten a team that was ranked when they played them. So that's, when my time at Ithaca, it was kind of similar. We never really got ranked at Ithaca, and we made it to the Sweet 16s and the Elite Eight. So I think you've got to show the committee that you can beat a team while they're ranked. And we haven't done that. Granted, our body of work, I think we would be an incredible addition to the NCAA conference or the tournament. We have, 7 seniors, 6 that play, and it's a team that has definitely earned it. But I think, we want to win that championship first.
Sure. Makes total sense to me. Both programs playing well at Hopkins. It's been exciting since you and Josh Leffler took over the program simultaneously. What's it been like to coach alongside Josh at a school that had seen nothing but Nancy and Bill for decades upon decades?
Yeah, Josh is an incredible colleague. He is really helpful. We actually bounce ideas off each other. He just kind of gave me some pointers for yesterday's game and some isolation sets and action. So he knows the game really well, and he runs some beautiful basketball with his team. So it would be silly not to try and use that as a resource. But it's always Hopkins, not just the basketball programs, but Hopkins in general. The sports are just so phenomenal, and every coach is really great at what they do. So the department is super supportive. The administration is supportive. We have a lot of trust, so we can kind of operate on our own. And that definitely allows these teams to thrive. I think it's a really wonderful spot to be at. I'm very fortunate.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I certainly know Hopkins down the street a bit and know what you speak of from afar, but it's good to get the insight, as it were, from you. Appreciate your time joining us. Good luck this week, and hopefully we're talking about you in a week's time as well when we're talking about those playing in March. As always, we give the coach the final word. Any final thoughts you want to share those tuned in?
As always, my final word is that I appreciate you giving airtime to Division III athletics, specifically basketball, and what you do is really incredible, and I appreciate it 100-fold.
Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it as well. Great to see you as always during the season. I look forward to catching up with you down the road.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Absolutely. Katherine Bixby.